Of a live Sunday swim. So, lots of things have gone on this week, guys. A lot of things, and I'm excited for some of the things that I'm going to be bringing in the very near future. I know we talked about resetting the cube up last week. Well, some progress has been made on that. Not quite as much as I'd like to, but I mean, I do have a full-time real job still as well, so things don't happen quite as fast as you want them to sometimes, but they are happening nonetheless. So before we get into that, I'll tell you, I'm going to give you guys a little update on what's going on with the cube, and then probably a little bit later this week, maybe a day or two from now, we'll have a full video on cube updates. But while we're at it, let's just get into and talk about what's been going on in these fish tanks so far this week. And then we'll get into the rest of the fun and new exciting things that are coming as we go through this. So guys, let me turn you around here. There we go. So everybody in here doing really, really well as usual. This is the Big Boy Tank. If you're not familiar, if you've been with us before, thank you. Thank you for coming back. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, and share. Click the bell, get those notifications. We are on this African cichlid journey, guys. So we did our last fish feature a few days ago on Cojones here, our tetrastigma. It's not quite as fired up today as he was before. I think these guys are a little bit hungry right now. Sunday is no feed day for them, but you see they're all up top because they think that I'm gonna feed them right now. But again, guys, if you haven't owned African cichlids, I'm gonna tell you this right now, and if you have owned African cichlids, you already know what I'm probably about to say. It's like having puppies that live inside a glass cage in water, because they're gonna act like they're always hungry. Even sometimes you may have just fed them, and 5 minutes later you can go by the tank and the result is going to be this. Because look, all I do, just put my hand up here and there they are. So, anywho, this tank's going really well. Did a couple things. I had to fix the flow. You see the flow is probably a little better. I don't know if anybody with a keen eye might have noticed that. Flow's probably a little better on this side with this FX. I changed out my floss. It was very full. On this other FX, I need to do the same thing. I'm gonna wait a week though, and then I'm gonna clean that one. I just want to give it some time for the one on the left side to get some more bio back with what may or may not have been lost. That way that I don't break my cycle by any means. So what's been going on in this tank this week? It's pretty much remained the same. I think that Baloo still is kind of playing tank boss. He's relinquished it a little bit, but I mean, he's still very much so fired up. Still kind of has his mountain. I think this Buko has really been trying to make some moves. Still a little immature, but nonetheless, he's the longest fish in the tank right now by far. I wouldn't quite say the biggest fish in the tank. There are fish that are quite a bit taller than he is and girthier. For example, V or VC10, very chonky, girthy fish. Kind of hard to get a view of him right now, guys. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to be at the top. Let me step back, see if we can get a better view. See if these guys will come down a little bit. But the hierarchy has not changed much in this tank in the past week or two. I think that Baloo is still kind of number one right now. Buko's trying to get there. And then, followed by the rest of your standards that have been in the top 5 fish. So that's going to be V or VC10. That's going to be Tangy, our Tangerine Tiger that's up there. And where is he? That's probably going to be Brody, our Taiwan Reef as well. And then, some of these other fish are kind of making their way up there. Our Star Sapphire, really, really beautiful, as Dolph steals the camera from him. There we go. Oh. But really getting some nice chipping. Really happy with this guy's development. His color's even getting deeper with like this lustery powder blue in the background of it. So very beautiful fish, and is going to continue getting even prettier as we continue to grow him out. So I think that what I'm going to do very soon in the near future for you guys is probably do a video on venting these fish. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. But probably do a video on venting these fish for you guys. And I might eliminate some things because I've long been suspicious that Big Al or Big Allison, we'll see, our Venustus here is a female. So I need to vent that fish. Our Rostratus, our Malawi sand diver, starting to get some curvature to the fins, or I mean some pointedness to the fins. But that fish needs to be vented as well. That might be a female. And then obviously we have Flair, our redfin boreal, our big girl here, but that's not going to be a problem. As I've said before in other videos, you know, nobody in here is really going to attempt to breed with her. But if our Venustus is a girl, is a female, I'm a little concerned that somebody such as maybe Dolph here, our big blue dolphin, or maybe even our Star Sapphire, or somebody of that nature, one of our other big haps, might potentially try and breed with her if she is a female. So we gotta vent fish and check this out. It's time, guys. But those are some of the new things that are going on in this tank. You see our Synodontis hanging out here. That's Fat Cat. And then Little Cat is still in his log as usual. He was out a little earlier today. So let's take a look at the 112 and talk about that tank a little bit. And then we're going to talk about the new things that came to the rack and briefly about what's going on with the cube. So, I know, I gave you guys a sneak peek. There you go. We'll get there, I promise, I promise, I promise. So, in the 112, everything going well. I need to do a little bit of scrubbing on the glass. There's a little bit of algae and a little bit of bio. I mean, really, the only detriment of that is aesthetic. It's not going to harm your fish. It's actually going to help improve your water quality. So if you can live with it, then live with it, because your fish are going to love it. So everybody in this tank doing really well. We had our albino flameback featured in a short earlier this week. He's really been showing off, getting some more of his pearly colors. Let me turn these grow lights off for our houseplants. Hold on. There we go. But he's been really getting some pearly colors and showing off a little bit. Kind of hard to see when he's up top like that. Our thick-barred Chitimba doing really well, and you see our snowball Socalfee always just luminescent in the tank. Beautiful fish. Our 3-spot Exogenous Enochromis, getting some decent size to him now. I still want to wait. It's probably going to be at least another month. We'll see how his growth spurts come and go before he goes over with the big boys. So we'll see what's going on there. But I did phase those females out. We do have some room to do some things. There is this OB female left in here. And then we have Shortcake, our strawberry peacock female over here, who is probably going to move back to this tank very soon. We'll see. Or maybe she'll move down here. Not sure yet. So, about this. What's going on the rack? What's going on the rack? What's going on the rack? Alright, so I have the hydroponic herb garden, but I haven't set it up yet. That's going to go here. And then I have the guppy tank set up still for the meantime. But I said I was getting really bored of the guppies. I'm thinking some type of microcichlid. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions, let me know in the comments below. Maybe. We'll see. So now, what else has happened? So, Petco had their half off sale. So I got this 40-gallon breeder and I had filtration for it already. So I got this 40-gallon breeder, and a bag of aragonite and a bag of sand, and the lid for it, and altogether I paid $103. So pretty darn good deal. So it gives me some option to kind of start doing some things. Like I said, maybe she'll come down here. We'll put her in here maybe, and maybe we'll move this Obi over, perhaps. Or we'll put Shortcake and this Obi and our female Obi over there and see who breeds first. That could be some interesting fish that come out of that if I can get that to happen, guys. So we'll see. Or we might even go another direction. One thing I was thinking, so we have the cube here. I know I didn't show you guys last week what's been going on with the cube, so I have it all cleaned up. And I cut the egg crate that I want to put at the bottom, completely covering the bottom subframe with it. And obviously I said I think I'm going to do South Americans and oddballs in this cube. So we're going to do white sand, river rock, things like that. So I've got some of the stuff already. Haven't got my sand yet, but we got some Carib Sea Supernatural little river stones here. And then I also from Lowe's picked up, or excuse me, from Home Depot picked up some bigger river stones. So we can kind of create and play with the textures of the landscape in there. And then the rest of the sand is going to be white sand. So, all right, I'm going to show you guys a quick preview of this. And then we're going to get a little bit more into the fish again. I want to make a separate video of this later this week, what's going on with the cube. But, so, for now, here's where we're at. I call this the construction zone, for lack of a better way of putting it. I mean, look at this. We're in my apartment, and I have my own construction zone going on. I mean, it looks like more madness on video than I think it actually is. But, you know, God bless my wife. She's put up with it. So, there's another thing that my wife wants to do on the rack, too. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So, what have I done with this stand? So, well, we framed the stand out, okay? This little notch that's over is going to go away. I got to sand that down or cut that down. I just kind of left it for now. But anyway, so we framed the stand here. I have my doors and a couple other pieces of wood or things I'm going to do with that. So that's going to happen shortly. We've also primed the outside of the stand. And then that's going to be painted. Originally, I wanted to do like a flat navy color, but I couldn't find it, and I didn't care waiting and or spending more money, having them mix me a flat navy. So, gray primer right now, and then we're going to hit it with a flat black afterwards. Since, you know, this is flat black, the rack is flat black, this stand is flat black. Everything fish-wise right now is flat black. So, that is what we're going to do there with the cube. There's going to be doors on this side here. And then there's going to be doors on the front side here as well. Yeah, I know. That's where I was, Gabriel. I know. I just, you know, I didn't feel like looking so much. You know, I decided to just call it a day. Perhaps that I was trying to move it along a little much. But I also kind of told myself it would be better to do the flat black because, like you're saying, everything else is flat black right now. And it would match the aesthetic. I mean, and not only that, I didn't build this stand, okay, guys? So, like, I'm refinishing this stand. You know, like I said, I just reframed it and I've primed it. We've got our sump under there that's eventually going to be our filtration. More things have to happen with that. But, you know, like, I didn't build this stand from the ground up, so I didn't want to completely rip it apart. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Not only that, but I don't really have the space or the tools to do that right now without traveling to elsewhere. So that's what's going on with that. Our underlayment for the cube should be here on Wednesday. It got delayed a little bit, but hopefully I will have the doors on the cube by Wednesday and it finished being painted, and then we'll be able to put our underlayment on it, and we'll be able to re-water test the cube from there, because I did reseal it. I did water test it already, but it's been dry for a couple months. So just to be safe, we're going to do another water test, and then we'll go with the landscaping. And then I have a couple other pieces, such as the pump for the filtration and the overflow and all that, that I have to purchase still. So that's what's going on there, guys. But as you can see, everybody happy, healthy, as usual. Now, the other thing that I said I was going to mention, I said that my wife wants to do something with a small tank. My wife wants to do something with shrimp. And then my wife still kind of wants to do a black and white tank. Either that or rams. Which I'm not opposed to either. So I'm thinking, guys, like maybe this 15-gallon flex can go down here and hang out next to the 40-gallon breeder, and then maybe we can put another 40-gallon breeder here perhaps, and then do 1, 2, 3 10s or 20s lengthwise. So we'll see. This is kind of a work in progress and a development, but it's gonna get there, I promise, guys. Actually, I feel like I've done a lot more in the last week than I've done in the last couple months. So if you guys have any suggestions on what you'd like to see, let me know. The other thing is too, what I potentially was thinking about doing with this tank, since we are close to getting the cube back up and cycled, I was thinking about maybe going ahead and purchasing my fire eel and putting them in here, but we'll see. I just got to see how this water turns out, because it might not be the best idea, because like I said, I did put aragonite in here, and it's probably going to be a higher pH, and the intention behind this was to do breeding, or to maybe even do a colony of, say, something Tanganyikan. I can do breeding, or we can do a Tanganyikan colony, maybe some Tropheus of sorts, maybe some sardines from Tanganyika, or maybe some multifasciatas, shell dwellers, something like that, you know. I don't know, we'll see, guys. Like, let me know what you think. Sky's kind of the limit. I think the idea was to do a breeding project, but, you know, I said we do have room for another 40-gallon breeder. So, we'll see what happens. But, we'll take one last look at these guys over here. This little pullet cichlid, too. Very colored down right now, very camera shy. I don't know if anybody saw the short that I posted earlier today, but he was powdery, had his black face on, and then just as usual, once I turn the camera on and try and get close to get a good shot of it, it kind of just fades back to this. Maybe soon one day he won't be so camera shy. So, but that's what's been going on this week over here at Matty Fish, guys. So, you know, just be on the lookout. There's lots of things coming down the pipeline, and if you guys would like to see anything special, let me know. If any of you guys would like to get together and do a live stream, I know Smallfish and me are going to do a live stream at some point. Gabriel, if you want to do a live stream, I don't know. I think you can only do one person, but I'm trying to figure it out. If we can get a whole bunch of people together for a live stream one day, and move towards that. It'd be nice to have like our own little aquatic community, so we'll see what happens there. So just as before, guys, if you've been here before, thank you. I appreciate the love and support. If you haven't yet and you are new to the channel, please subscribe, click that bell, get those notifications, and like all of this. So, oh, so you're saying 9 StreamYard. Okay, we'll have to talk about that a little bit more, Gabriel. Hit me up in the comments after I close this live stream, Gabriel, and maybe I can give you my Facebook so we can talk a little bit easier without having to just comment on YouTube. We'll figure it out. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's Sunday swim. Be on the lookout for, like I said, an update video later this week about the cube. And I think I'm going to do another fish feature later this week. So if anybody wants to see a particular fish featured, I mean, Tyler Plant, he's like 5 for 5 now on fish features. I want somebody else to give a suggestion. So we'll see. But anyways, thank you, everybody. Gabriel, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. All right, Matty Fish out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Let it swim and let it stay fishy.